Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the Blender 101 tutorial series by Almost Awesome Animation. If you missed any of the previous tutorials, the link to the series playlist is in the description. So, again, like in the previous tutorials, we're going to start with a new Blender window, what you get when you open up Blender. And start right now with the cube selected if it isn't already. So, it should have the orange outline around it. So right now we are going to go into edit mode. So last time we dealt with object mode, where we transformed the cube, we moved it around, we rotated it, we scaled it, we added in some various other objects besides cubes. Today we're going to go into edit mode. So there's this little drop down menu right here, see where my mouse is, or I guess it's a drop up menu, and there's all these different modes. We're going to go into edit mode. It's the one with these little vertices lit up on a cube. So now the whole cube's orange, and we have these very distinct lines and vertices. So I'm just going to deselect everything by pressing A. Now in edit mode, the main difference from object mode is instead of selecting an object, you're selecting individual vertices, lines, or faces of an object. So I'm just going to, right now we're in point select mode. The way to switch between point, edge, and face select is down here, but right now we're in point select. I'm going to right click on this vertex. So now that I'm right clicked on this vertex here, I can, let's just press the G key, and just like an object mode, I can move it around. I can constrain it to an axis. I can move it a certain number of grid spaces, stuff like that. And you can rotate and scale things as well. That doesn't work with vertices because they don't really have a direction or a size. But if I go down here and click on Edge Select, I'm just going to right click on this edge. I can scale the edge to make it longer or shorter. Edges don't really have the axis constraint, at least for scaling. It's not like I could scale an edge because it only has 2 dimensions in an opposite direction. But I can rotate the edge, I can move the edge, stuff like that. And then finally we also have face select, so I click on face select right here. I can right click on a face. So here I can basically do everything because face, well, I can't scale along, again, face has 2 dimensions, just like an edge, but I scale it, I can rotate it, I can move it, so you can transform objects quite a bit with this. Let's just make a pyramid, so select this top face here, press S, let's do 0.1, enter, and we made a little pyramid. The other thing that's really important about edit mode is you can actually create more faces, edges, and vertices. There's a few ways you can do this. The primary one is extrusion. So just right click on this top face here of our pyramid thing, and press the E key. So when you press the E key, it goes into extrude mode. And that's just like making a new section of, in this case, faces. It could be making new edges or vertices, depending on what mode you're in, face, edge, or vertice. And I can drag this. By default, it always goes to the axis that the face that you extruded it from is on. But let's say I wanted to extrude along the X. That's kind of weird in this case because it would like be inside of itself. So let's just stick with the Z. But I can do that and constrain it. I can also do, like with anything else, the constraints of distance. So like 1 or 2 grid spaces. Let's go with 2. And we have this whole like new section of geometry to work with, faces or edges or vertices, that we can transform like anything else. So I'll select this top face again, and I'll scale it by 10, so we kind of have like this hourglass looking thing now. Stuff like that. There are two other primary ways to create more geometry. The first one would be an edge loop. So press Control R, and it will show places that you can make an edge loop. Let's just make one along here, and right now it's just choosing which edges it wants to cut. So let's do along here, and then I can also slide it along these edges, or I could press like a certain distance as well. I'll do, I won't slide it at all. I'll just press enter, and I'll scale this like 0.7, and then I'll make an edge loop up here, and then I'll scale that maybe 0.7. And then we have our hourglass thing, sort of has like a nice curve to it. The other primary way of creating more geometry is subdividing. So we're going to go back into face select, right click this top face, and hit subdivide. Now we've got 4 faces there. Where that face was, you can change the number of cuts over here. So like if I up the number of cuts from 1 to 2, you end up with 9 faces here. So that's kind of cool. If I wanted to deselect that and then select the center one and extrude it, maybe like one up there, we got like this little thing poking out of the top. You can also subdivide edges as well, so like I could right click on this edge and subdivide it, or actually it works better if you select 2 edges, so I'll do that edge and this edge, and now we have 2 faces here. So that's a way you can get 2 faces instead of 4, subdividing. So there's a lot of different things you can play with edit mode. So yeah, just play around with all these tools. There's a lot more tools in edit mode to use, but these are the basic ones. So yeah, as usual, if you guys have questions, just put them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and see you next time.